I have pleasure in inviting Dr. Veena Ramanan. She is a senior consultant in cardiac anesthesia and critical care at MGM Healthcare. Her interests are ECMO, heart and lung transplant, and VAD. Dr. Veena will be talking on cannulation strategies for a VV ECMO. Over to you, Dr. Veena.
Good afternoon, senior colleagues and delegates. I am Dr. Veena. I will be speaking on cannulation strategies in VECMO. So, how to go about it? Main objective in a VV ECMO is to maintain gas exchange, oxygenation, removal of carbon dioxide. It is an isolated lung failure and preserved cardiac output. So, there are different modes of ECMO support, requires different types of cannulae, different connectors, different securing techniques, and different strategies. Overall, the main goal of ECMO cannulation is to provide the least traumatic, most durable and simplified method of delivering the blood to and from the circuit. So, once the patient qualifies for a VV ECMO, is a candidate for a VV ECMO, how are we going to proceed? So, before initiation, a pre-insertion ultrasound is a must. It is helpful, gives us clues to identify the vessels, to delineate the vascular anatomy, and also the most importantly, it helps us to determine the appropriate size of the cannula, the diameter of the vessels, the caliber of the vessels, and the diameter, the fringe of the cannula we are going to use ultimately determines the cardiac output and the ECMO flow. So, it also helps us to delineate what is the pathology in the vessels, whether there is any clot. If there is any thrombus in the vessels, it helps us to, gives us a clue to choose an alternative technique. And a quick pre-insertion echo to determine if the cardiac status is stable, if right ventricular function is good, left ventricular function is good, to go ahead with the veno-venous ECMO. So, coming to what are the types of cannulas. So, there is a continued research on different types of cannulas, and there is always search going on for an ideal return and the drainage cannula. So, the brief overview of what are the cannulas available. These are the different types of drainage cannulas. Usually the drainage cannulas we are going to put will be a femoral axis. So, the drainage cannulas usually have multiple side holes, so to facilitate better drainage. So, there is another type of drainage cannula which is little longer than the usual femoral cannula, which has a drainage port in the tip and a long shaft which is empty, which stays in the right atrium, and again there will be a multiple ports which stays in the inferior vena cava. So, these is two different types of drainage cannulas we have. Then the return cannulas, most of the return cannulas is in the IJV, which has only the drainage only in the tip, whether multiple holes or the single hole. There is another type of venous return cannula when we use a femoral approach. So, this cannula is longer than the other, its counterpart femoral axis, and it has drainage only in the femoral in the tip. So, this aids us to place this cannula in the superior vena cava and atrial junction. So, how do we measure? Usually the right internal jugular vein is roomy. It allows us to place the return cannulas of various sizes. So, that sizing the IJV will not be a problem. The most important determinant in a VV ECMO will be the determination of your drainage cannula. So, we have to see what is the femoral vein size, what is the caliber of the vessel, whether vein is thrombused, whether it is roomy enough to accommodate the largest possible cannula which maintains the cardiac output for that patient. So, the simple formula to determine the gauge size will be 3 times the diameter of the vessel in millimeters. So, how do we go about determining the cannula size? In brief, to put it in a nutshell, 23 French cannulas allows, it is very arbitrary, it depends on the patient, but to just give a clue, 23 French cannula gives at least a flow of 3 liters, 27 4.5 liters, and 31 size gives at least 5 liters. It is strongly recommended to employ the largest cannula tolerated by the patient's anatomy. And overall, taking into consideration about the number of cannulas available, very few of these cannulas are heparin coated. Hence, once the guide wire is confirmed, once the placement of guide wire is confirmed, initiation anticoagulation is a must. To initiate ECMO, a small anticoagulation is a must to prevent clots. So going about, this is an insertion kit which comes with all the ECMO cannulas. It has a guide wire, long length guide wire. It has color coded different size of dilators. So the largest dilator possible, guiding your French size chosen, we have to serially dilate using the modified cylinders technique. So coming to what are the configurations of ECMO possible, most common ECMO configuration is a dual cannulas. So triple cannulation in special circumstances, and ongoing we are now single cannula, dual stage cannulas are coming up. So what is triple cannulation? It is only advisable in selected patients, experienced centers. So it is initiated as an upgrade to a VV or a VECMO, either when lung failure sets in during heart failure on VECMO, or when heart failure or a cardiogenic shock develops in a patient who is already on a VV-ECMO. So what is this VAV configuration? In short, it is right internal jugular vein and femoral vein is used for vascular access. It is positioned as comparable to VV-ECMO. Only the outflow is divided using a Y connector with one cannula going into the femoral vein, into the right internal jugular vein, and the other cannula goes into the femoral artery. So the flow in both of these written cannulas, it is largely determined by the vascular resistance of the venous and the arterial systems. So the tendency of the flow is to flow towards the right internal jugular system, and the less flow will be going towards the femoral artery. So how are we going to monitor this? So we put flow sensors used in CentriMac to monitor individually the flow of these cannulas and guide how our flow, how to adjust this flows. There will be an adjustment clamp, and this adjustment is done depending upon the hemodynamic support required or the respiratory support required in these patients. Most often in a VAV configuration, respiratory support is often adequate, but hemodynamic support is lower than it doesn't provide a full cardiac support. It is often lower than a VA configuration alone. Next is cannulation strategy will be a dual lumen single stage cannulation. Most of the patients VV ECMO is used as either as a bridge to recovery, to transplants, and they will have a long waiting period for both. So use of femoral cannula often limits the mobility, and it causes significant deconditioning during the waiting period for this patient. So the advantages of using this single stage dual cannula will be, it will be a single vessel puncture. Most importantly, it allows easier mobilization and physiotherapy rehabilitations of the patient. They can be well preserved till they reach recovery or transplant, and it is less recirculation is there in this. So what are the cons is, it does not give higher peak blood flows like a dual cannulation. It is definitely sensitive to changes in position. It requires expertise. Even the initiation requires advanced imaging. So this is how the bicaval cannula looks. It has a dual lumen. The drainage lumen is bigger than the return lumen. It has 3 ports. The distal port usually lands in the IVC. The central return port is in the right atrium, and it is facing towards the tricuspid valve, and the proximal port drains the SVC. So most commonly used is the dual cannulation. And how do we do it? All the cannulation is done under ultrasound guidance. Initial assessment is done to see the anatomy and caliber of the neck and the groin veins. Measurements are done, cannula size is determined, appropriate cannulas are chosen according to the need of the patients. Cannulation is proceeded under ultrasound guidance always, and we use both the aid of transthoracic echo and transesophageal echo for guiding our the position of the cannula. Usually transthoracic echo we use to guide the placement of the IVC cannula, and transesophageal it is easier to determine the position of a SVC cannula with a transesophageal echo. Also, the TE allows for immediate diagnosis of any cannula related complications like a pericardial effusion, tamponade. It helps us to identify. So this is how we go about. So initially vascular access is obtained under ultrasound guidance both in the neck and the groin vessels, and then ECMO is proceeded. So once the cannulation is done, we check it using both TE and transthoracic to see the ideal position. So in this is the transthoracic image of an IVC, and this is the cannula tip at the IVC hepatic vein junction. This is the bicaval view showing the cannula position in the SVC cannula position almost near the SVC RA junction. So after this, even though we have used the imaging techniques, the migration of cannula is always a possibility. So double confirmation with an X-ray is very important to see what is a cannula position. Ideal cannula position described is to at least keep 15 centimeters gap between the two cannulas. The basic idea for this is to avoid recirculation. So any cannula position greater than 10 centimeters which avoids recirculation is accepted. If the cannula positions is too close, along with recirculation, it also can cause hemolysis and thereby complications. So this is the X-ray picture of a femoral axis. Once we take a femoral axis, this is how the X-ray shows. There will be a return cannula in the lower part and the axis cannula in the lower part, and the return cannula placed in the SVC RA junction, which will be proximal. So this is the same patient which we received from an outside hospital, where they have used a dual cannulation, and the cannulation the drainage cannula was advanced too far into the neck and it had almost reached the neck. So we had to reposition the cannula, and this patient had a lot of chattering, flow fluctuations when we received him, and once we adjusted the cannula, things settled. So this is the ideal position of an Avalon cannula. This is a CT film of the same patient, where we can see the 3 ports. This lies in the IVC junction, IVC, the proximal the distal port, and this is the return cannula which lies in the right atrium facing the tricuspid valve. This is the proximal port for the draining the SVC. So this is a small description of how to go about Avalon cannula insertion. Usually it is done under TE. It requires constant TE monitoring. Modified bicaval view is the best view for the placement. We have to make sure that the guide wire reaches the IVC. That is the primary most important step, and always the guide wire check whether it is in the IVC has to be seen before proceeding with cannulation. So once we dilate, the cannula is advanced into the IVC, and once it reaches the IVC, the cannulas are secured. The color flow is an add-on to see whether the return is directing towards the tricuspid valve. Based on that, we can modify the position of the cannula. So these are the 2 videos in short describing how we do the cannulation. The below video is a VV cannulation initiated in a outside hospital for a 3-year-old child. We were called for initiating ECMO in this 3-year-old child, 10 kgs. He had a pneumococcal pneumonia. He was worsening with despite maximum inotropic support. So we did a percutaneous dual cannulation for this child, and weaned off ECMO in 7 days. He was extubated in 10 to 12 days. The upper video is one of the COVID victims who was initiated on ECMO. He was he was deteriorating on NIV support. So we initiated ECMO for him, femoral axis. This was femoral axis. He was awake when we were doing an ECMO. He got intubated 3 to 4 days later, but when we were initiating ECMO, he was on face mask and alternating NIV. So this is how we fix. There will be a purse string taken at the neck at the insertion site, and multiple level fixing is done to ensure that the cannulas don't get misplaced. So to sum up, femorojugular technique should be the first line strategy for all the VV ECMO patients in considering its ease of implantation and its effectiveness. Femoral technique should be reserved for patients where technically IJV is not feasible. Double lumen single stage cannula is an appealing upcoming option when we need to ambulate the patients on a VV ECMO program, but the insertion is more complex and the costings are high. Finally, there is a potential role for a triple cannulation strategy in a combined severe cardiorespiratory failure. Thank you.